Good morning, welcome to today's RC chat. Now, number one, apologies for being late this morning. I've got an exceptionally busy day in front of me, so I took my time getting up this morning to plan the day. Hence that I'm only recording this at 8:25 in the morning, and to be frankly honest, I normally record this at 6. So anyway, with apologies aside, we have 4 topics for today's RC Coffee Chat. They are: number one, yesterday was a flying day, and what a fantastic day. The 4D8 wing has been started, so we'll have a quick nose at that. The topic number 3 is the process, which is on my other screen. I'm just working through that at the moment. That has been started for the editing of the episodes. We'll get onto that topic in a moment. And topic number 4 is T-shirts. We will get to that today as well. So going back to topic number 1, yesterday was a flying day and it was colder than a witch's wingtip out there yesterday. I had 2 pairs of socks, thermal boots, I had a pair of jogging bottoms underneath a pair of jeans, I had a t-shirt, a shirt, I had a puffer jacket and then another jacket and a whatchamacallit on my head, a hat, and my hood up as well, and yeah, my feet still ended up getting cold by the end of the day. Me and Dave went out. I know I spanked over 20,000 milliamperes of battery yesterday. We had a fantastic day. And as you can see up on your screen right now, I found Dave flying in the sky. Unbelievable, just fantastic, bright winter's day. When we got there, all the ground was frozen. By the time we left it all defrosted because we had some winter sunshine. There was a northeasterly wind, which was great for flying in the Phantom. And yeah, we had a fantastic day. Absolutely fantastic day. I've got a couple of photos here. Yeah, look at that. That's the side of the Phantom FX61. Yeah, that was a bit dodgy actually. I taped on the run cams onto each wing. And then when we landed, they just popped off in my hand. So, yeah, bit of a dodgy one doing it that way. But it did work, and I did get some fantastic flight footage. I was quite surprised how bouncy the wings were, if I was honest. And I did mention in the Facebook group that I might stick some carbon fibre in there. But then Martin, thank you, sir, pointed out that the wings really do need some flex in them somewhere along their length. Otherwise, you start passing on stresses to other parts of the model. So I may or may not do that in the near future. I'm just seeing what other photos we got in here. Yeah, this is the other one of Dave up there. That was really, really cool. Absolutely cool. And then we were flying out, and then we had Dave following me too. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And that was actually a photo from Dave's, on board with Dave's Twin Star. And you can see that he's got a bandit on his 6. Now, I was very careful because I didn't want to get too close to him. The last thing which we want is a mid-air collision. And we had a close shave. We were both like saying we're at whatever distance, and we were about the same height. And then I banked right and went straight in front of Dave. We must have been right next to each other. So I do really need to solve the pan and tilt challenge for the Phantom, so we can have a look around while we're up in the sky. So yeah, absolutely fantastic. And oh yeah, that was me looking for something earlier. So yeah, absolutely fantastic day. I didn't take the Talon with me. I took the Phantom FX61. I took the Sky Shadow. And went through flying blind and ended up being blind and stuffed it in the ground. Complete blackout, and I obviously didn't bank round hard enough and pull up enough to get round the interference of the tree. And then I thought it best just to stuff it in the ground because that's always the safest thing to do. So they'll have a little video on that one later. And yeah, what else did I take? Oh, I also did take the Hornet, but I didn't actually fly the Hornet wing at all. It was just really the Sky Shadow and the FX61. That's why I managed to get through so many milliamperes of batteries. Oh, and if I'm frankly honest, I did get through 2,200 packs in the hand warmers as well. We were using that to keep the batteries warm. So they didn't freeze, in short. Right, next topic is the 4D8 has been started. Let me move that over there out of the way. Let's wait for the old pooter to catch up. Now, the 48 is a absolutely massive wing. Well, it's 48 inches wide. And I'm sure you've seen photographs of it before, and yeah, let's get that photo up. Now, it is an absolute monstrous great big wing, but in the scheme of things, it's actually a lot easier to build than, say, the Wombat. And the reason why it's a lot easier to build than the Wombat, because there aren't any booms or tail fin or like fuselage to sort out. It's just basically two pieces. So I've started to dig out, and you'll see that I'm using tape on here, and I did put a little quick tip episode up yesterday on using tape to mark out the where components need to go, and you'll see that I'm relying really heavily on pins and tape. Now you can see that I've got a white line on there. I'm using like a white pencil to do that, but it is kind of ropey. That pencil kind of works on some parts of the foam and not on others, so I've resorted to a more clearer option, which is just to use some tape, and that was the tape which came with the bonsai flying wing. So I actually finally found a use for it. So yeah, if you do get some free tape with a model, do keep it, because it will come in handy sooner or later. And then I've taped out where the components are going to go, and I've started digging into the wings, and it is started to make one heck of a mess. And have I got a photo on here? Yeah. That was the first compartment, and I've started doing the second compartment on the other wing, and the amount of black foam everywhere. Oh, also, this black foam is really tough, and I am going through a blade literally for each layer. So yeah, like the servos, I went through 2 blades for each servo hole. I only did 1 blade on the video transmitter, and I went through 2 blades on the receiver, and I'm already on like my 3rd blade for that battery bay on the left. That black foam is definitely different. That black EPP foam is definitely different to white EPP because it is blunting those blades very, very quickly. And I also did find a big again, I'll probably get this into a separate build tip, is that when I was cutting out that battery bay on the first one, which I did, is that I cut out all around the edges and went down a little bit deeper, and then did the cross, so I ended up with little squares to pull out, and then I went, once I pulled that out, and then I went down again. But then on the other wing, what I did is that I did the same as before, so just went down the blade depth and did a cross, but then I went across all the cuts again, but down to the right depth, and that worked so much better. I was able to get the pliers right down and take a lot more material out in one go. Now, those battery bays both do need to go down further, and I will be trying, and again, I'm a little bit 50-50 on this, is that I do have a soldering gun, and I'm going to see if I can make a jig up so I can use a ruler as the edge and then plunge cut with the soldering gun. Now, I don't know if I frankly have the balls to do that or not. I might continue today just doing it by hand. I know it's the longer approach, but it is a bit iffy. I don't know if I've honestly got the balls to just go in there and go and then back out again on such a nice wing. So I am really scared of screwing it up. But the 48 has been started. We have the receiver bay has been done. The servo mounts have been done. The only other bay which I've got to do, let me just grab that photo instead, is that we've got the video transmitter, the 2 servos, which I've got exactly the same measurements, and they are both in exactly the same place. That was a good challenge to get done. I did that one first, and then that one there was a little bit more tricky to get because I needed to get that one in like a known place, and then that side it was a little bit tricky. And you can see how much tape I've used to mark that one out on that wing. But coming back to my point, after this it's really straightforward. I've got another bay to dig out here for the Vector to sit in, and then we've got the motor mount to go in the back, and we're pretty much on the home straight. Well, the only complex piece to this build actually is the nose piece, which I'm going to make on the very front of the nose down here. Is that what I'm going to do is that the two, like the top and the bottom parts of the wing, which we got provided, which kept the wing cord safe in transit, is that I will use those to make the like output. I'm going to, where the, how do I explain this? So on the front we got 2 pieces of Corex which come around the front, is that I'm going to use the nose pieces to make that out piece which comes out on the front. Now, the reason why I'm doing that is because it will exactly match the front nose, the contours of the nose. So instead of having to sculpt something out from a different part of the cord, for example, from the bit of the spare foam, is that I then know that that will fit that nose section perfectly, so we get maximum glue area, and then I'll have to trim it down. So that is going to be a good challenge to get done. I probably won't get it done today, if I'm frankly honest. I've got a lot of worky stuff to get done. But yeah, that is probably about the trickiest part which I've got, is to do that little nose piece in there. The motor mount is really straightforward. Just need to mark it out, and then I will be the method which I'll be using is that I'll set the wings in the wing beds. Use a piece of wood on the back at the right height, which I haven't measured it yet, but I'll get 2 pieces of plywood or something like that, so I get a flat height, and then I'll go in with a box cutter knife and get that in straight, and then I'll make sure that we've cut in adequately, and then get the motor mount in, just make sure it is deep enough, and then that metal ruler which you can see up there at the top, I'll get the blowtorch out on that, heat that up, and then slide that in using the wooden little support at the front to make sure it stays parallel, and then bring that in, and then that's the motor mount, and then we're ready for glue up. And glue up's going to be dead straightforward. So again, it'll be putting tape on the wing beds around the join. Then we will put glue, or I'll put goop in on the 2 halves of the wings, and then at the same time I'll also put the motor mount in there as well. It is quite a lot to get done very, very quickly, because we've only got a certain amount of time to work with the goop glue. But after doing that with the Wombat, it's not tough to do. You just need haste rather than speed to do that. And then those 2 parts are together, and we really are on the home straight. Like I said, the only tricky bit for this 48 wing is this nose section here to go on the front, to make sure it is running like top and bottom, like flat on the top and bottom. It's contoured around the front of the core flute, which goes around the front as well. And then I'll need to then dig into it to put a run cam mount in there for the run cam 2, and then also do the FPV camera mount as well. And again, I will go for number one, a little bit of extra nose weight doesn't make a blind bit of difference. So I will be putting one of the little metal frames in there, putting it on a little plywood base. And the reason for that is so that I can remove the FPV camera out of this model, and then perhaps use it in another one to cut it, so that I can cut down on the number of FPV cameras which I need in my arsenal. So right now I'm on a personal ban on buying any more FPV cameras. I know the Runcam Swift 2 has been released, but the OSD doesn't do anything for me, to be frankly honest. Obviously for me personally, but if you are a quad pilot, for example, and you want to know what your battery voltage is, that is a good idea. But for me personally, the ones which I need an on-screen display in, then I've stuck one of those hub OSD boards in, and this model is going to have a vector sat in it anyway. So yeah, I've got no need for that one. So the Runcam 2 does sound like a fantastic idea, but for my purposes, because I'm not a knife flyer, no biggie for me at all. Right, so that was the 48. Oh yes, my assistant is working on a custom skin, which will go over there and all the way over there. It is going to be absolutely amazeballs. So assuming that she gets it done today, we'll go down to the sign printers here in Bristol, and we'll go and just make sure that I'll take the wing down with me, make sure that, well, we'll see if we can do like a test print on there, and just make sure the dimensions are correct, etc, etc, and then we'll go and get it printed out. And my approach for that will be get all the components in, get the top covers in as well, excuse me, then laminate it, get the top covers in, and then put the skin down in on top, and then if needed, which is probably quite likely going to be the case, is that I may double skin the top as well, with an extra layer of laminate on top, just to protect the top skin on the model. So yeah, that's going to look super cool. You'll find out what that skin is in a later date. Topic number 3 today is that the process for starting editing videos is underway. Again, as you saw, like my New Year's resolution was to work harder. Part of that is also, of course, working smarter. You can't work harder without working smarter, and a simple way of time hacking is to get someone else to do some work for you. So that my video editor, he's got a nice big backlog of episodes for him to edit, and I will be having a chat with him very shortly on some of those episodes, which will we've got the big ones right now are the mail episodes, and I would also like to get the mini Talon overview. I think that would be appropriate to get a 2017 overview to the mini Talon. The Wombat build series, we've got parts 2, 3 and 4. 2, 3, 4 and 5 to get out, and I've also got a part 6 to get recorded too. And the reason why I'm taking this approach is because if I focus my attention on the pieces which only I can do, such as the video creation part, and if I can get rid of the bulk of the editing to another party, that means that I can create more content, if that makes sense. So yeah, working harder but also working smarter, that's for sure. And the last topic is around T-shirts. Now, this is a little mini project which I've been working on for a while now. It's still nowhere near completion, but there is like a side project which I'm working on at the moment. You will find out about that in the near future. We're still working on a collection of designs for T-shirts, so do look out for that in the future. So with that said, in summary, yesterday, let's get through some of these images. Yesterday was a flying day. That's why it was kind of quiet in the Facebook group and also kind of quiet on YouTube as well. Yeah, took the Phantom out, took the Sky Shadow out, and had a damn good flying session, to be frankly honest. We were out for a good couple of hours, to say the least. The 48 build has been and started. It's nothing is complex in that one at all. Well, yeah, I was saying about the nose piece. Perhaps the skin for on the top is a complicated piece, but I've given my assistant all the dimensions, and again, you could give that to your local sign making company, and they'll be able to help you with that. So I'm really looking forward to that 48. It's going to be one great big epic wing. I did order the Cobra motor. What was it? The 2820, I think. I've got that motor on order. I did get an email to say it's been dispatched, but it's coming from the States, so it will be here at some point or another. The process, and the next topic was the process for episode editing is in full swing now. Yeah, you should start seeing quite a few more episodes over the next couple of weeks, to say the least. And T-shirts. I know a lot of you want T-shirts. That's something which I'm working on at the moment, but it's not really publicly viewable, if that makes sense. It still needs quite a bit of work. I mean, like I said, we've got a collection of designs to go out and get edited before we can show you what I'm up to. So on that note, thank you ever so much for joining me for today's RC Coffee Chat. If you were out flying on the weekend, I just hope you had half as much fun as what I did yesterday. It was an absolutely brilliant day's flying. Yeah, very, very cool indeed. And yeah, this week is going to be a busy one. I've got a few ugly tasks which I need to get done in the first week back. Once those are over and done with, then we're all into plain sailing. Oh, and a little hint for you, there are 2 more flying wings on the way to me. Again, I'm trying to pre-plan like a month to 6 weeks in advance. So the wheels have started on those, and they're 2 very, very special wings as well. So you'll find out about those in the near future. And by the way, if you want to guess what those wings are, go for it in the chat, in the comments section underneath this episode. You never know, one of you might get lucky. One of you might not. I don't know. So on that note, I'm going to finish up my cuppa. I'll get this episode edited up for you, and yeah, expect quite a few episodes out of me over the next week or so and into the future as well. So on that note, from myself, Matt, have a fantastic first day back at work, and if you're not back at work, I sincerely hope it's a flying day for you. So from myself, Matt, cheerios.